Welcome to the Character Gallery. Thomas and Percy have many friends on the island of Sodor. Use your arrow buttons on your remote control to pick your favorite character and press the Enter button to begin. Thomas can be described as a cheeky, fussy little engine. He often gets into scrapes, usually by being overeager to do things best left to bigger and more sensible engines. But clouds never last long in Thomas's life, and he's soon bustling about again, playing his part in the yard and on his very own branch line, of which he is extremely proud. Percy is the junior member of the principal team of engines. He is a happy little chap who's normally quite happy puffing around the yard and is always keen to oblige, a fact of which the other engines are apt to take advantage. Henry is a long, fast engine. He has a thoroughbred look and, like all thoroughbreds, tends to be somewhat highly strung and prone to illness. But he has his new shape now, and sympathetically driven, he'll give any engine a run for its money. Emily is a beautiful engine with shiny paintwork and gleaming brass fittings. After she rescued Oliver and Toad when they were stuck on the tracks, I rewarded her with a brand new pair of coaches. Fergus is a traction engine who works at the cement works. Working around all that dust has given Fergus a chronic cough, but he's still extremely reliable and always plays by the rules. Mavis is a feisty young diesel engine who works at the quarry. She's full of her own ideas and doesn't take kindly to advice. She has a lot to learn about the troublesome trucks, but with Toby's help, she's learning to be a really useful engine. Salty, the dockside diesel, loves to tell tales of his life by the sea. He often works in the quarry, but is happiest down by the docks. Salty has a great big heart and will always rush to the aid of any engine, be it steam or fellow diesel. Duncan means well, but will rock and roll whenever the mood takes him. He tends to have a mind of his own, which makes him obstinate and rude on occasion. He has a great big heart, but is a little misguided. Duncan is now part of my narrow-gauge railway, of which he feels he is very overworked. Rusty is a very self-assured and dedicated worker with a huge heart. Rusty loves adventure and the other engines, which makes their lives much easier. Skarloey is a very chipper, hard worker who shares his duties with Rheneas. He is a proper engine who is dedicated to his narrow line and always eager to help out when he's needed. Gordon is the senior member of the engine family, the fastest and most powerful of my string, and he knows it. He's good-hearted, though, and always willing to forgive, and uses his superior strength to help smaller engines out of trouble. James is a medium-sized engine. His 6 driving wheels are not as big as Gordon's and not as small as Thomas's. He has a fine scarlet coat and brass dome, and likes to think of himself as a really splendid engine. This can occasionally lead to highfalutin ideas about the sort of work suitable for such a noble creature. Invariably, they land James in trouble. It's been many years since I first came to Sodor as a railway engineer. I rose quickly in the company, being a director at an early age, and eventually chairman. My imposing appearance, no less than my firm but kindly handling of both engines and staff, earned me the affectionate nickname of the Fat Director. Then, after nationalization, when I was awarded a knighthood for my services to the railway industry, I became Sir Topham Hatt, the Fat Controller. Arthur is a big new tank engine whose job it is to shunt trucks and pull freight. He's as excited to work for me as he is proud of his famous spotless record. Only time will tell if that record will stay as spotless as Arthur would like. Edward is an older engine, but the most important thing about him is that he is kind. When the other engines misbehave, it's Edward that I turn to calm everyone down and restore order. Toby is old-fashioned, both in looks and outlook. Every engine, no matter how old, wants to be really useful, and having once nearly been scrapped, Toby is always happy to work. He's not above being temperamental sometimes, but since he works mainly up an outlying quarry line, he can work off his moods without causing grief to anyone except his own faithful coach, Henrietta. Bertie has a great deal in common with Thomas. Ever since their great race, they have been the firmest of friends. Bertie's strongest characteristic is his friendly grin and his readiness to help any engine prepared to admit that just sometimes roads have their uses as well as rails.